Good afternoon. I have been feeling a little bit more inspired recently, which is really exciting because I feel like I've been in a bit of, not like a rut, but just feeling anxious about like the direction of my life, about what the hell is going on and like what I'm supposed to do like after graduation. I just feel so much pressure to, right after I graduate college, just to like get off the ground running and like be applying for jobs so much and being like, how do I get my career as an environmentalist, because that's what I studied at university. And 2 days after I graduated from my university, I started an internship, and that's what I've been doing pretty much every single day since I graduated. And I've just been feeling really overwhelmed. Like, I just feel like there's so much more in my heart than exploring the doorways that have been opened with my degree. Like, I'm really passionate about environmentalism and I love what I studied, and like I'm passionate about like the environment and like all that comes with it. But I just feel so much pressure to like be a corporate girl or like to just get into a 9-to-5 job when like my heart just desires so much more than that. And it's been really frustrating and confusing, and just like, I don't know, I feel like I follow a lot of people online and they're like traveling for a living and like making YouTube videos. I just feel this like deep sense of longing in my heart, but I just don't know how to achieve what I want. And I think that like financial limitations are like the biggest thing. Like, if I had all the money in the world, then I wouldn't work and I would just like travel the world and like make little videos, but that's not my current state. But anyways, I do have at least a little bit of money because I've been working full time, and you know, I have like savings. So I'm so excited because I have been exploring like woofing, which, if you don't know what woofing is, I think it stands for Worldwide Organization of Organic Farming or something. Basically, you get to go somewhere and you get to live at this like farm for free in exchange for like work exchange. So I've been trying to do some like researching into a horse farm, and that's my dream at the moment. I'm like definitely overwhelming myself by thinking about like, okay, like what am I gonna do for the rest of my life? And like there's just so many things, like my heart just feels like it's being pulled in like so many directions. And I'm like, let's just focus one step at a time. I'm currently working my internship. It's gonna end in less than a month. And I think right after my internship ends, I have a trip planned to visit one of my best friends in Utah. And then I think like right after I get back from that trip, I'm gonna work at a horse farm for a couple weeks and just think about life and spend some time in solitude, because I've been living with my family, which has been good. And I just miss, I don't know, the freedom of being in university or like living alone, or I don't know, even though I didn't live out alone at university, just like living with family is just different than like living with friends. Like I felt like I just had so much more freedom and like so much more like alone time. So I'm really excited to kind of like take a step back and like live with horses for a couple weeks. Yeah, I don't know, I just wanted to share just what's been on my mind recently, and I've just been getting really anxious and just feeling overwhelmed about being a recent grad and just feeling so much pressure to live a life that is being led with my degree, if that makes sense, when I just feel like there's so much more in my heart. I guess I just wanted to like open that discussion, and maybe there are other people like feeling the same way as me and that can relate. But if you do feel that way, if you're a recent grad and you just feel like you want more in life than just having like a 9-to-5 job and being driven by money and like capitalism, then I see you and I understand, and we're in this together. Good evening. I have some very exciting books here with me that I got recently, so I wanted to give a little book haul. I usually never buy books just because I have a Kindle, and I have like an app on my Kindle that allows me to just like rent books from a local library digitally. And I don't know, I usually just get books from the library if for whatever reason I do want a physical copy, but I found this really great website. It's called Better World Books, and they had books for really cheap, which I knew about thrifted books online before, but I just thought that the price of this website was really good, and they had free shipping on orders over $15. And free shipping is usually a big selling point for me. So I bought some books and I'm very excited to share. I guess this is kind of like a little TBR for the summer. Hopefully I'll get through all of these, we'll see. The first book that I got that I actually already read, I will be hopefully doing like a video about a media wrap up, kind of like all the media that I consumed in the month of July, and this will definitely be on it. I read The Alchemist. If you haven't heard about it, it's just about this boy that kind of goes on like a journey to pursue his dreams. It's a pretty short book. It was just really sweet, pretty inspiring too, so I really enjoyed it. I read it pretty quickly as well. I recommend it. And then I actually, okay, so there's a bit of a silly little story here. I got really excited about reading Alice in Wonderland, so I ordered Alice in Wonderland online for like $6. And then I was at the thrift store and I saw, wait, no, it's the other way around. So I ordered this copy of Alice in Wonderland online for about $6. And then I was at the thrift store and I found Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass at a thrift store for like $3. So I was like, oh, this is like 2 different books in one. So I'm gonna buy this one. But then this one like arrived and they're like the same thickness. So I don't actually know if one of the books has more, like 2 different stories in it. I don't know what the deal is, but basically now I have 2 copies of Alice in Wonderland. I'm really excited to read this. I haven't read any classics before besides like maybe for school. So I'm excited to, I don't know, I feel like this is like a little soft launch into classics. Like I feel like this would be a fun read, but also it's Alice in Wonderland, like definitely a classic. And then this one I got at the same thrift store. It was like $2. It's Ariel by Sylvia Plath, and I haven't read any of her books, and I saw this and it was really cheap, so I got really excited. So I'm excited to explore some poetry. And then I got this book, Almond. I love following this creator. Her name is Noah Maria, and she actually talked about Alice in Wonderland too, and another book that I'm gonna mention. And this book, Almond, I'd never heard of it, but she raved pretty highly about it. Obviously I haven't read it, but from what I remember, it's about this boy. He has this disorder. I don't remember what it is, but basically he can't like either feel emotions or like process emotions. So he's basically trying to like navigate life while having like a very like unusual relationship to human emotions, which I thought was really, really interesting. I love books that kind of explore like emotional complexity and just humans experiencing emotions, because I'm a very sensitive and emotional human. So it's really interesting to me to read books that kind of highlight emotions. So I'm really excited about this one. Next, this book, Nausea. This is about a novelist. Let me read the back. So he's a French writer. I'm just reading this from the back. He's like horrified about his own experience, and he has this diary where he, quote, ruthlessly catalogs his every feeling and sensation about the world and people around him. He's like super, super existential. And so this book, it's kind of like what I was saying about Nausea, or what I was saying about Almond, where it's just like humans experiencing like the complexity of being a human and also like the complexity of human emotions. Kind of have the same reasoning to why I want to read both of these books, basically just reading about kind of like the nuance of human experience. And I think that this just looked like it would kind of explore the human experience in a really interesting way, in this like super like existential, dramatic, intense way. I just thought that it was really interesting. I'm excited to read this, and I'll definitely like give my updates and like reviews as I'm reading it. And then this is my current read. It's Perks of Being a Wallflower. I just started it. I have seen the movie. I feel like it's a really popular movie. It's just about this like high school boy, and this book is in the format of like letters, and he just goes through a lot of hardships. It's kind of tracking his brain and emotions as like all these things are happening around him, and I really like the writing style so far. It's like written as a high school boy's writing it, and it's just really, really interesting, and I'm really excited to like track this boy through like his high school experience. It's a really beautiful book so far, and this is another book that Noah Maria recommended, and she said that it was like her favorite read of the year, so I'm excited to read more with this. Again, this is my current read. Yeah, those were the books that I have. Honestly, I feel like this is a really good haul. Like, I'm really trying to dive into physical media and kind of staying off my phone, staying off electronics. I do really enjoy my Kindle, but I just feel like reading a book and like feeling the pages and like seeing like the ink on the paper is just a different experience. So I'm really excited to start like my book collection. And usually I don't love like buying things that are just gonna go to waste, but I made sure to buy books that I feel like I would keep beyond like when I finish them. Like I feel like I'll want these books in my library forever. And I also bought them secondhand. So yeah, I'm really excited about these. I had quite an emotional night last night. It was pretty taxing on me, honestly. One of those random nights where the day's going fine and then just after the sun goes down, my anxiety just hit me, and I don't know, it was like one of those periods where the wave of anxiety is really intense and just your emotions are so heightened, and just felt like the weight of the world was on my shoulder. But I did some really great self-regulating techniques and I was able to really bring myself out of that state of heightened emotion, and I wanted to share what I did and how I kind of helped myself. Post-grad life is just really unknown, and living in a constant state of unknown and uncomfort definitely weighs on you. And yesterday was just one of the days where that anxiety and emotions really manifested, and I felt like I was spiraling a little bit, but I was able to anchor into the present moment and activate my parasympathetic nervous system, take some deep breaths, and I was able to make myself feel better, which was really nice. So the first thing is that I really just let myself feel emotions. I had kind of an initial freak out, and then kind of at the heighten of feeling overwhelmed, I decided that I was going to sit with how I'm feeling. I tried to like call my boyfriend and it didn't really help. And then I think a lot of the times when I'm feeling anxious or like everything's really overwhelming, I'll try and reach for my phone and doom scroll or do some things on my phone to distract me. But I made the conscious choice to not do that yesterday, and it really paid off. I sat on my floor beneath the candlelight and I was just letting myself cry. And I was actually journaling about the things that were giving me a lot of anxiety, and that release of crying and also getting from the hurricane of thoughts in my head and getting it out onto paper, onto like a physical, tangible, and more like understandable form really helped. So I was able to take my head and take the things that I was spiraling about and write it on paper, and it was able to really ground me and really held me accountable for my own thoughts, which was really helpful. And then after I wrote it out on paper, I cried some more. And then after kind of feeling like I released what was really pent up inside of me and released all the thoughts in my brain, I really took some deep, deep breaths. So like I said earlier, I was in a dark room and I was just by the candlelight. So I brought my candle closer to me I was sitting on the floor at this point. So I brought the candle closer to me and I just kind of meditated by staring at the candle and just taking some deep breaths. I've been really enjoying counting my breaths as a form of meditation. So I would count slowly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, inhale, hold it for 5 counts, and then exhale with 8 counts. Extending your exhale really activates your parasympathetic nervous system, and it is a really great way to ground yourself and release your anxiety. Honestly, if you just extend your exhale once, I noticed a physical shift, an emotional shift in my body, and all the tenseness and anxieties in my brain really are able to mellow out, and I'm able to realize, okay, I am safe in this moment. I am not in a chaotic environment. I am in my room. I am sitting on the floor. I'm looking at a candle. It's okay to be here, and right here is a safe space. And I was able to find safety within my head again. That's something that my therapist actually recommended to me. That's a really great tool to get you out of your head, is to activate your senses. And she recommended that I have in a little essential oil bottle. I use lavender. I don't even know where the cap is to this, and it has like cat hair on it, but I think it's empty, but it still smells very strongly like lavender. And so if I'm in my head, I'll take a really deep inhale of this, and not only does it activate my senses and really get me out of my head because I have this overwhelming lavender sense in my brain and in my nose, it also helps me take deep breaths. So I was just sitting and I was meditating with my candle and my breath, and also taking some deep breaths of lavender, which was really nice. And then I was just able to fall into more of a meditation after, and I meditated for about 10 to 15 minutes after. While I was meditating, I'm not really sure why, but I felt very blue, not blue as in sad, blue as in the color. I don't know why, it was really in my head a lot. So then I did a little bit of journaling after, and I just felt like taking what was in my head and putting it on paper. So I drew some blue. And then I wrote down 5 things that helped me calm down from my anxiety attack. I said number 1 was my lavender essential oil. Number 2, not depending on anything to pull me out of the anxiety attack, aka my phone. I really was relying on myself and seeking that safety, and I don't know, like looking into myself to ground myself, if that makes sense. 3 was crying and journaling. That was such an incredible release. 4, breath work and candle gazing post-cry. And then 5 was meditating. And then today I woke up and I felt a lot better. I definitely had a little bit more of that residual anxiety still looming in me. So I went to the gym this morning, which was really nice. I think it helped kind of like release all of the extra emotions and anxieties that were still being left in my body. I did some cardio, and then I also did a very short period of weight training, and it was just really nice to feel strong in my body after feeling really weak and sensitive yesterday. Just doing some weights, feeling strong again, it really helped. It's just so silly. Life just really isn't that serious, and even when it feels serious, you're always gonna feel the other end of the spectrum again, that life is just light and playful, and it's just a dance with emotions, and it's all about learning how to navigate emotions and things that are coming up. That's been a really big truth for me recently. But today I had a little bit of a different schedule, so I work a little bit later today, which is why I was able to kind of have a nice calming morning and then also go to the gym. But I kind of need to start preparing to do that and get in the work brain. Yeah.
To be honest, despite all the uncertainty that comes with post-grad life, my world is still rooted in a deep knowing of myself, and knowing that I'm rooted in my unwavering desire to learn about how to navigate life and love. No matter how rocky or uncertain my external world or circumstances become, I'm grounded in the truth that I'll be okay because I'm committed to learning more about myself in the process. Most of the time that I have outside of my work, I spend reading, doing art, moving my body, or showing up to my yoga or meditation practice. I really work hard to know myself deeply, and I know that the more time I spend scrolling on my phone or on social media or technology, the more convoluted my internal world becomes, which is why these forms of meditation, like journaling, art, yoga, etc., have become so crucial to this chapter of my life. And even though a lot of things are uncertain, I do feel really grateful for the work that I've put into knowing myself throughout the years, and the commitment and discipline that I do have to my practice and to the things that make me feel good, because ultimately that's the one unchanging constant in my life, and it's one of the biggest things that can root me and ground me into what I know to be true about myself.